We were talking about the trans thing a second ago. Gender, I've noticed it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like in recent months, you've been focusing especially on gender issues.
Yeah.
Going back to the infamous Harry Styles, your controversial opinion that you don't think men should wear dresses. I don't know how you could possibly say such a thing. But so there's that, and then there's the men in sports and all those sorts of things. I think that the gender issues have been, I've been saying for years that this is one of the central battlefields of the culture war. It's time for conservatives to wake up to it and start engaging. This is not a sideshow. It felt for so long that conservatives said, well, this is a fad, it'll go away. It's not. So am I correct that you've been focusing on this more? And if so, why is this important, do you think?
So I actually haven't been focusing on it more. It's just that it's kind of finally come to fruition, which you predicted it, I predicted it. So 3 years ago, when I was first speaking out, I was like, watch this, because this is something that you think, it's less than 1% of the population. It's not going to ever be a thing. And I was like, I just kind of saw it kind of brewing. And I had done tons of episodes on my previous shows, talking about it. When I was sitting college campuses, I was talking about it. And then it feels like sort of in the last 6 months, they sort of became really obsessed with now even calling a woman is wrong, right? Like even trying to say, all of these terms, woman X, how do you even say it? Womex? Women's?
Womenix.
Womixin.
Womixin.
Yes, right?
I also thought it was Latinx, but I'm told that it's a Latin X.
No, let's go with Latinx,
yeah,
right? And which is hilarious, because if you ever use the word Latinx, it's the easiest way to discern that someone is not actually Latino or Latina, because they'd have to do away with the entire language.
Yeah.
Everything is a gender in Spanish. La mesa, that's table. Like it's like boy or girl for everything. But yeah, so I just saw it coming, and I wanted to really assert myself on that issue, because it is just the greatest undoing, you get to destroy families, weaken society. You can do everything through the transgender movement that the left is really after, which is just chaos. So yeah, I just spoke out against it. And I will say this, like I said earlier, it is the one issue that Black Americans are the most uncomfortable with. And so I have not, I've seen Black Americans across both sides of the political spectrum say, okay, on this, she's 100% right, which makes sense, because if you poll Black America in terms of their politics, they've never been big supporters of the LGBTQRNSET.
That's also, you don't, whatever it is, just say the whole alphabet, but you say that Black Americans don't support this, and I've heard that before, but you don't hear that voice. The voice is heard through you, but it's not. They don't have very many outlets to express that. I mean, BLM, for example, is, at least before they scrubbed their page that laid out their whole agenda, the stuff about tearing down the
families.
Yeah, families. They took a lot of that stuff off, but before they took that stuff off, you read it and you thought, well, this is an LGBT group. This is not. There's very little here even about race. It's mostly about trans, and so is that. Why don't we hear that expressed more? I mean, is it?
Yeah, I think you do. It's just not given. It's not given air. So, like, I definitely have heard Charlemagne the God, right, on the Breakfast Club talk about various political issues, and they will always side on the Candace is right on this one, and definitely throughout the Harry Styles thing. Actually, it was the first time Black Twitter ever came to my defense, by the way, as they call it, #Black Twitter, because, Noah Cyrus, Miley Cyrus, apparently has a little sister, and she jumped in to defend Harry Styles, and in the process called me like a nappy-headed hoe, and then it kind of went viral on Instagram, and they were all talking about the issue, saying this is just not something we accept, but the media won't cover it. So it sort of exists in this bubble on social media, whereas I know, you speak to Black Americans, they never, ever, ever have attacked me on my position on women are women and men are men. And I think that they really see that as an attack on Black men, and it's an attack on all men, what it means to be a man. And we already have so many issues when it comes to fathers in the home and what it means to be a man in Black America as is. So it's just not something that they're going to get behind. So it's a losing issue for Democrats, which is why I'm okay with them trying to force this down people's throats, because in my opinion, you start calling a Black woman's child, her son, by a female name, and you're going to wake up a sleeping giant.